Or to explore and having a wonderful conversation with some student change agents from the College of Global Futures, which is a lot of fun. So we're going to have a great time here. Thank you for joining us today. I'd welcome the opportunity because we really want this to be a dynamic, honestly, not just presentation, but truly conversation. This is the opportunity not to hear from a bunch of old fogies like me, but actually from the real people going through the crucible of innovation and sustainability right now. Some of our general slides, and then we're going to be moving into our main event conversation. Welcome. You are here at the College of Global Futures. This is a wonderful session of the comprehensive More to Explore seminars. You've had a few before, one presently, and a multitude of things going forward. We'll cover some of those at the very end of our presentation. But today, you are here not to listen to me, but to talk to the amazing people, our incredible student panel of our change agents from the School of Sustainability and the School for the Future of Innovation and Society. My name is Colin. As I said earlier, I'm a faculty member and recruiter here for the School of Sustainability. Here's my contact information. We'll share my and my colleague Bridget's information at the end of this. We would welcome the opportunity to connect with you on a personal basis. We'd love the opportunity to connect with you if we haven't already under personal cover for a conversation on a Zoom or a phone chat, but also happily welcome you here in private and intimate visits to the university to tell you what the College of Global Futures is all about. All right, so here's our introduction and agenda. I'll just give some high-level things here about the school overall. And then, like I said, we're going to get to the main event of our awesome student ambassadors. So let's frame things. Why the College of Global Futures, and how does this translate cogently into career opportunities? So the wonderful faces. So the College of Global Futures is about providing change management and opportunity here. So we are, right, 1 in 4 people on a national basis use their degree in a field of study in a real job. Now, here at the university, that's a little bit higher. And then here in sustainability and the College of Global Futures with innovation, that's over 75%. So individuals who study this are going to directly be working into that field. Some of the things that we do here as well is that we prepare you with a transdisciplinary skill set and a problem-solving orientation. So as opposed to just identifying issues, you actually find out how to solve problems now and think deeply about them into the future. And then we buttress all of that with real-world learning experiences ranging from things like capstones, internships, and very incredible study abroad opportunities as well. So as you can see here, we have students working in a variety of fields, from enterprise to government to NGO to entrepreneurial work. You can see the slide in front of you. It speaks for itself. Folks like Intel, Tesla. Sorry to flex on you. Yes, we do have people working at Tesla, and I'm very sorry that I did just say flex on you. Now, let's also frame the value proposition, I think, of Arizona State University and the College of Global Futures. So it's a big, big world out there. Fun thing is, we were ranked number 5 in the entire world for a university that puts its chips into the middle of the table and is all in on innovation and sustainability. For the 6th year in a row, we've been voted numero uno in innovation, better than Stanford and MIT. That is a bit of a flex right there. And as it pertains to the U.S. and domestic opportunities, when you're here in the U.S., ranked number 1. So we are the most comprehensive public research organization, fully embodying an innovation and a sustainability mindset. Let's think about some of the things that you can study, right? So we ask questions about how you design impactful cities, focus on things like renewable energy. How do you provide and ensure accessible clean water to folks? We have a big conversation. One of our degrees under sustainability deals with food systems. How do we mitigate and adapt to this big pressing issue, the most pressing one really, global climate change? How do we think deeply about now and purposely with intent for the future, social transformation, and then wrap that all up with planning for sustainable development for all persons? Now, at the College of Global Futures, we are organized in 3 distinct schools. So we have the School of Sustainability, the School for the Future of Innovation and Society, and the School of Complex Adaptive Systems. You can see the variety of different college and specific major offerings right there. Here's the wonderful thing. Think of all of these colleges like sisters under one big household. We actually work really well together. Aside from when somebody touches our stuff, then they're dead to us. So the reality is we actually work very well. Sustainability, innovation, and sustainability, and complex adaptive systems. We work across these boundaries to create agents of change. Now let's move this forward. We've had some additional folks join us here today. So we've got Cece Nags, Andy Wilkerson, Elise Crispin, and Maya Shrikant. Now, we're going to turn it over to them. So we have a whole variety of questions. They've been prepped a little bit ahead of time, but I haven't told them we've actually got a lightning round built into this to really get to the core of who these change agents are, right? And it's going to be silly and maybe a bit divisive. Maybe you'll come, maybe you won't, just based on the lightning round. But I can, rest assured, based upon what you're going to hear next from these incredible agents of change, you are going to love what we've actually got for you today. And I apologize, we also have Caitlin Finnegan joining us as well. So it's a big, big house. We've got 5 of our wonderful change agents here. So let me open it up. I'm just going to do a quick round robin for all of our students and ask you to simply introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and what drew you originally. I know this is like going into the time machine. What drew you to innovation, sustainability, and the College of Global Futures? Let's go up to the top of my screen over to Caitlin first.
Hi, well, I'm Caitlin Finnegan. I am a junior within the School of Sustainability, and what drew me to the school is just the wanting to change the world and just like helping it move in a good direction. So.
Awesome, Caitlin. Thank you so much. Next, we're going to go over to Andy.
Hi, I'm Andy. I'm a senior in the School of Sustainability, and I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona. What originally drew me to sustainability is I've always been interested in like environmental protections, but the School of Sustainability allowed me to combine that passion with my interest in social equity and really have a interdisciplinary learning background.
Wonderful. I love some of that. Maya, let's pass the ball over to you.
Hi, my name is Maya. I'm a senior in the School for the Future of Innovation in Society. I'm originally from upstate New York, and I came into the program kind of untraditionally. I am a biology student and added the major as a secondary degree, and what drew me in was analyzing the sort of human dimensions of science and technology. So that's what I've been engaging with in the school so far.
Awesome, Maya. Thanks. I'm sure like the lack of having to like shovel snow, you only have to shovel sunshine here in Phoenix, probably wasn't a deal breaker as well. So thank you for bearing with us in all of our sunshine. I'm so sorry. Let's move over to Elise, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elise. I am a senior in the School of Sustainability from Arkansas, and I was drawn to the College of Global Futures to gain an understanding for, I'm specifically interested in energy systems. So I knew in this school, they break everything down from a systems thinking perspective so you can see all angles to the issues you're addressing.
Elise, thank you so much. And we're going to wrap it up with Cece here.
Last but not least, my name is Cece. I am from Chandler, Arizona, and I'm a senior in the School of Sustainability. I was drawn to the School of Sustainability from my high school. They introduced me to School of Sustainability and what everything's about in my environmental science class. And I decided to stick with it because I knew that sustainability was going to be so essential in our future and that I could get a job in whatever sector I wanted, like corporate, government, nonprofit. So I knew I'd be good there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Cece. We've got a very interdisciplinary set of change agents here coming from a wide variety of backgrounds. But I think even just one of the common threads that I heard here through my Zoom screen is that they are all drawn for a purpose to do well and do good, that they want to think critically about the future and find creative ways in order to usher in a more productive and enjoyable future for all people. Let's go ahead and toss the ball back over to Maya here. So from an innovation perspective, I'm fascinated that you came to the school in ASU from a biology perspective, right? So more of an ecological systems basis. What was that point, right? When you saw the College of Global Futures and this innovation, so you mentioned things like, the human capital capacity and the science policy and decision perspective. When did you recognize that, maybe just an environmental orientation alone may not cut it? Why did you gravitate towards innovation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think a lot of the translation in biology, at least in my bioethics classes, and those classes within science that really tried to dig deeper beyond the sort of molecular and scientific concepts, failed to translate further than the research bench to the medical bedside. And innovation in society really looks at who are the people, what are the politics, and what are the systems that the bedside and our research and our technology all intertwined into that space that all is really important and complicated and complex. How does that all work together? Because I felt that sort of human dimension, that political dimension, those sorts of transdisciplinary topics in biology lacking. And I really get to apply my specialty into the kinds of questions that we engage with in innovation in society.
Wonderful answer. Thank you for that great Genesis story. Elise, maybe I'd like to transition over to you here from some of the things that Maya just mentioned with regard to this kind of systems perspective, some of the policy and the politics. So you mentioned in your lead off that you're really involved in things like, FAFSA energy and systems work, right? Could you maybe comment what drew you, or rather the value that you're finding from a degree in sustainability as you look at energy? I think most people would say, oh, energy, you mean like when you turn the light switch on? Well, that's easy, right? Could you help us maybe understand what sustainability has done to provide you this level of understanding from a complexity and a systems basis, from a change management?
Sure. So I think when we think of energy, we think of, oh, so you're going to go get a degree in electrical engineering or something along those lines. But I knew coming into college, I am not necessarily built for that more technical degree. And there's plenty of people out there, that's their thing, that's what they're going to go into. But I really wanted to view energy from the systems thinking perspective and understanding not only that technological side to energy, but also how does energy affect people? How does it empower people? What do we need to consider in our energy systems to build resilience long-term when we're facing climate change and so many other societal issues? And so the School of Sustainability has helped me, and the College of Global Futures overall has helped me kind of be able to analyze those deeper issues other than just, okay, we need this many megawatts over here right now. It's more than just an energy distribution issue. It's also that long-term, how do we sustain ourselves and how do we build better systems for everyone and also equitable systems for everyone. So that's kind of those approaches that I've been able to learn more about here through this program.
I love it. That connectivity, that depth, that systems, that solutions orientation. Great to hear that. Caitlin, let's go over to you and maybe take a little bit of a turn here. Now, I'd be fascinated to think, and you're going to get some candor here, right? Because we've told them to just take the gloves off, right? I'm fascinated. Caitlin, I'm fascinated to hear maybe your peak in your pit, right? When you think about the College of Global Futures, be honest, right? What has been, one of the things you've just absolutely loved? And then, gosh, has there been maybe a little bit of a pit? And then how's that turned around from a transition, and how's the school embraced those changes?
Yeah, so I think one of the great things like about the college is just like how we've expanded from just like being the School of Sustainability to like being the College of Global Futures. And so like our resources have expanded, the people that we can connect with has also expanded. And then one of the things that like has kind of been like the pit of it is just it's kind of hard to like see some of these like SOS events and SOS things kind of transition to being like expanded to everyone, just because like I'm so used to having it like for the School of Sustainability and now it's being open to everyone, but at the same time it's kind of a benefit because we get to meet more people and learn from each other.
Well, I love that, right? With change comes a little bit of dissonance, hey, it's not just our thing anymore. We've welcomed Maya to the team. We're a family now, right? A big happy one. And guess what? It's like, having that weird stepsister that moves in, but guess what? Eventually, we're all one big happy family. So it's great to hear that we've kind of embraced that and that you have, and I think all of our students have as well. Andy, what about you? What's been some of your peaks and your pits from the College of Global Futures? You certainly have time and tenure here and have seen a lot. What are some of your thoughts, giving us a candid peek?
I think definitely a great thing about the school is just how broad everything is. The whole college, you can really find what you're interested in and dig deep in that. But then going along with that, the pit is sometimes you end up taking like a course that doesn't interest you at all. And it's not as fun to take a course that you're not super passionate about, but in the end you end up understanding like, oh, that's not something I want to do with my career in the future, and it's much better that I like got that out of the way now rather than being stuck in it later. And so I've been able to like narrow down exactly what I'm interested in and find like my passions and what they truly are through that. So
That's correct. This is why this is not a conversation about accountancy here at the School of in the College of Global Futures. But Andy, maybe could you extrapolate that on a bit more? So in addition to, narrowing down potential career choices from a functional basis, while it may not have been, the bee's knees, do you feel like it's provided you a degree of perspective and maybe empathy to maybe that piece of the pie that you would not have necessarily gravitated towards?
yeah, definitely. Even if it wasn't like my favorite class I've taken, I feel like I've learned so much from perspectives that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And all of the professors that I've ever had have such great backgrounds and like knowledge about sustainability in the world in general. And so even just being able to like listen to them and their experiences has really like helped me gain new perspective and ideas and find my place better. So I've really enjoyed that.
Well, I love it. On that, I think we're going to transition over to Cece now. Cece, we're going to ask you about some of the specific opportunities, be it from an internal research base, maybe an experiential one. All right, Cece, let's go back over to you here and jump back in. I'm interested about some of these opportunities that the College of Global Futures has afforded you. It could be things like clubs and organizations, study abroad, research. Maybe could you help, for those that will view this later, some of the things that you've been involved in and have really enjoyed, or maybe simply you've had friends that have been involved in this one and had an impactful experience?
Yeah, 100%. I think I've had some of the coolest experiences with the School of Sustainability and the College of Global Futures. I personally have got involved in a fair amount of clubs. The College Council, which I guess is now turning in, School of Sustainability College Council is now turning into Global Futures College Council. I was a part of that the last year and a little bit of this year. And then Caitlin is now the president. Whoop, whoop. And I've been a part of School Sustainability Academy, different organizations that have been able to provide events and resources to where I can get connected more into what I'm interested in. When was this? Oh, this was January. I was a part of the Fraser Global Mentorship Program. And so I was paired up with a mentor in the sustainability field. She was a biomimicry professional, and biomimicry I added a certificate of. So I was like, this is perfect. And she works for Johnson & Johnson, and I got to have weekly meetings with her where she would give me advice on interviews and different questions I had. She would teach us about biomimicry. So I got to learn firsthand how I could apply this certificate that I added. It's brand new into my career, which was super awesome. And then I got funding to then go and visit her for a week and a half in Paris, France. So I doesn't get better than that, people. Like, you get to go to France and live your best life and learn about sustainability. I honestly, life-changing, and definitely has helped shape my career and seeing like, okay, I really like this corporate atmosphere. I was able to go and visit and see firsthand what it was like. So forever grateful for the College of Global Futures. Thank you. Yeah.
So let's dig into that. And maybe I want to have you push back against what Andy said in terms of like these classes, right? So the classes are wonderful. Shouldn't we just have you in class getting straight A's? Isn't that all that you should focus on? Like, why does this really matter to you? And what do you think the value add is in terms of like, participating in these types of activities?
Yeah, I think the classroom, 100% great. It gets you that knowledge that you need so that you can go out and apply these things. It gives you, because I've always thought like, oh, I want to work in the corporate industry. And if you don't have these outside experiences to go experience them, you're never going to know if you actually like doing it. I did an internship with CBS and I hated it, despised it. Great company, nothing wrong. I didn't like that retail aspect. And so I know now that that's not where I want to head. And I was able to go experience what it's like to live or to work in a corporate setting, the 9 to 5. And I like it. I like working in teams, and I like collaborating, and I like meetings. And I was really able to get that experience through the College of Global Futures. But I also then have the educational background, the knowledge to be able to implement different projects and solutions while also you're gaining that professional experience that you don't get in the classroom as much.
Awesome, wonderful. And certainly it seems like, you know, with the college piece here, those functions are increasing as well. That's one of the things by 1 and 1 not equaling 2, 1 and 1 are going to be equaling 3 here as we've leveled up from just separate schools to the College of Global Futures. You know, let's go ahead and open this up to all of you because I'd love this conversation to all 5. Wayback Machine. Let's peel it back. What do you wish that you knew your freshman year, like going into college, into becoming a change agent that you know now? So if you're looking at yourself and you're saying like, self, you know, freshman year, you're like, you really need to not wear those Uggs. Like, that's just, no, can't do that, okay? Or you need to sign up for this, or you need to be involved in that, or you can't do this, focus on that. Do you have some words of wisdom to your younger self? You know, thinking about the few days that you entered into ASU and as you contemplated becoming a change agent. Maya, let's head over to you.
I think going into college, I was very uncomfortable with the idea that I was a person that was interested in kind of operating in a gray space. The gray space was between biology and journalism, and I felt like I needed to declare expertise in kind of both of those areas in order to like legitimize myself outside of college. And growing into comfort in the gray space, I think all of us are working in gray spaces in one way or another. So yeah, I think academically, becoming more comfortable with saying I'm transdisciplinary, saying I'm interdisciplinary, and declaring expertise and knowledge in that space rather than trying to fit into molds of where other people have kind of legitimized areas of knowledge and things like that.
Fascinating. I like that. Thank you. Yes, being comfortable with the uncomfortable and the unknown. That is, it's not for everyone, but I certainly think those on the call and Nicole joining us today, it creates impact and opportunity. Andy, let's go over to you. What do you wish you could tell a freshman yourself?
Going from high school to college, like high school professors felt more approachable, and then college professors seemed like this far away entity that like I couldn't go and talk to. And so I wish I could tell freshman year me that like office hours are great to go to and you can get to know a professor. And if you're interested in your research, like then you're on their radar for a bit and you can reach back out to them later when you have the opportunity to do research and fit that into your schedule. And they know your name and they know that you've been interested in it for all those years. And so definitely going to office hours and like professors are people too. It was something I would like to tell my past self.
That's right. We are human. Thank you. I'm not a lizard person and unapproachable. That's right there. Elise, let's go over to you. Freshman year, you. What did you want to tell yourself?
I would say don't be afraid. I guess this kind of goes with what Maya said, but don't be afraid to go outside of your comfort zone. I think freshman year, I was limiting myself and saying, okay, I am a BS in sustainability with a energy track. That's what I'm doing. Nothing else in sustainability will interest me. But then eventually over time, as I kind of opened up more, I was able to do research on lakes. I've done research on collaborative governance and social systems. So, and I've learned a lot of things in those other settings that I can apply to energy or I can apply to really anything. And so I wish that I had just kind of gotten out of my comfort zone sooner to learn in some of these other areas that I was afraid to approach previously.
Honestly, I like that. You might just getting uncomfortable with the intention, right? Putting yourself out there. I like that. Caitlin, let's head over to you. What do you want to tell freshman yourself?
Yeah, so freshman year, I didn't really like get involved much or like hang out with like a lot of sustainability students just because like I felt like I didn't belong in a way. Just because like from high school, I was like, oh, like I know I want to do sustainability, but I didn't know like what parts of sustainability like I really wanted to pursue. So I kind of just like stepped back and like didn't want to like dive in. And so like now that like I know that like I'm super passionate like about marine conservation, I feel like I found my like place within the school, and like I know like what research things I want to do. So I wish that like freshman year I would have just like been okay with not knowing what I wanted to do, because like I did just started in freshman year, like you don't have all of the answers, and that's like why college is 4 years and not just one. So I wish like I would have given myself like more time and like the opportunity to get involved, and just like be okay with like not knowing.
I'm hearing some common threads. Let's see if Cece holds to that or kind of takes a left turn here. Freshman year you.
Freshman year me, I would have told myself, yes, say yes to all the events, say yes, say yes, say yes. And I do still say that, say yes, do it, go to the thing, find a buddy, take them with you. But also, I've learned that it's okay to say no as well. That, you know what, I need to take a step back, I need to study, I need to go on a hike, I need to go look at the stars, whatever you need to do. But I also think saying yes, even if you're just a little bit uncomfortable, is better than not going because you were just a little too afraid. Because I've met some of the best people by just being like, okay, I'll go, and I hope I find a buddy, and then you make a buddy and you have a great time and it's fun.
Well, I feel like we should channel Aristotle here, where he taught Alexander the Great, fortune favors the bold, right? I'm hearing, put yourself out there, get uncomfortable, say yes, say no, be comfortable in your own skin with your inter and transdisciplinary orientation. This is great, right? So I think this is certainly, College of Global Futures, but I think this is sage advice to any high school to college matriculating individual. I would even say the same thing, right? I knew I was a marketing and a business guy. I wish I had branched out a little bit more. All right, not lightning round, but I do want to hear from you. Do you have a favorite place on campus and why? Right? Is it like, this is my place, like this is my island, right? Elise, let's go to you. What is your favorite place on campus?
I think I have to say it's those picnic tables right outside of Wrigley Hall, because it's near the front of campus. So at any time of day, someone's walking by, you can say hello, but it's also, even despite being in the middle of campus, a nice little quiet place where you can go do homework or study, have a meeting with a professor if you need to. It's just a good, safe space, but also still fun to catch up with people. And yeah, I think that's my favorite spot by far.
I like it. Little people watching, little people judging, little homework all mixed in one. Very cool. Caitlin, what about yourself?
So mine is like super close to campus, but I wouldn't consider on campus. It's Postino's. It's a restaurant that I think is the greatest restaurant in the world. I'm gonna be really sad when I leave Arizona because like they only have them in Arizona. But yes, if you do decide to come to ASU and join the College of Global Futures, I would highly recommend checking out Postino's.
All right, that's a good study location and friend collaboration area. I'm feeling that. Maya, what about yourself? Do you have your spot on campus?
Yeah, the porch on the Virginia Piper Writer Center, it's like a little house on campus, and there's always rocking chairs, and I love sitting there and also people watching and doing homework, and it feels like I'm back in the Northeast, like sitting on my parents' porch. So yeah, it's a little nostalgia in the middle of the desert.
Out in the Catskills, right, in Adirondacks, just, listening to nature. But again, never snows. And you don't have to salt driveways here. Cece, let's go to you. Do you have your little area of Zen?
Yes. My area of Zen is actually the school sustainability and academic advising office, because when I'm on campus, I work there. So I'm in there and I'm doing homework, and I also have someone to talk to and someone to listen to my babbling at all times. Hannah sits there and she probably wants me to, but I just continue to tell her about my day, and they listen with open ears. You
will do very well in the corporate sector. Don't worry, Cece. At least let's have you cap this off. Where's your happy place? No, you already said it. I apologize. We got to go over to Andy. My apologies, Andy.
It's all good. My location is new now because Hayden Library was just redone, and the second floor has these huge, gorgeous windows and comfy chairs to sit in. And so you get to people watch, but you can also like hang out with friends there, and it's a good central location, and everyone knows where Hayden Library is. So if you say meet there, it's likely that they'll find their way. So that's where I like to hang out.
I like that. You know, I would offer either, for me, it's the Secret Garden or the Parent sculpture next to the Biodesign Institute, which is a lot of fun. So you can do some good yoga and some meditation there, which is very nice, and get away from it all. For your edification, right? Campus is a big place, but there are actually, as you heard here, many areas where it becomes infinitely small. Right? That could be in the office location, it could be in a library, it could be on the front porch of a cottage, right? Where the president of the university literally used to live, and it's now a creative writing center. You have the ability to connect with people in a multitude of these ways. Let's keep going here. I want to hear, what do you like to do in your free time? So I don't want to hear, I really like thinking about the environment and innovation. That's what you study. Now, I know this is going to be hard to like divorce your avocation and vocation here as a professional student. And certainly you can be tempered by that, but what does a College of Global Futures do to cut loose? Because certainly you've all got 4.0s, you're rocking out, you've got internships, you're amazing. But guess what? I would offer, I think college is about 70 to 80%, academic and 20 to 40% social, personal development. So help us understand that. What do you like to do fun, and how has that added value maybe to your whole experience in CGF? Elise, let's start it off with you.
So I really like to go hiking in my free time. I'm actually going up to the Grand Canyon this weekend to kind of get away for a minute. But I think, especially coming from Arkansas, where we have lots of trees, and then coming out here into the desert, hiking is definitely my space to get away from the homework, get away from the research papers, and just kind of settle down and then recollect and then go back to the homework.
I like it. I mean, you have a great extroverted nature about you, but everyone needs to, recharge as a bit of an introvert as well. I empathize. Andy, what about yourself? What's your fun zone?
My friends and I always do like dinner and board game nights. And so everyone comes over and we make a big family dinner together. And then afterward, we choose a board game and play it. And it gets a little competitive and rowdy sometimes, but that's super fun and how I like to de-stress at the end of a week.
All right. Well, so remind me never to play Trivial Pursuit with you. I don't want to get, I don't want to get owned by you, but I also don't want to get, like something thrown at me. Caitlin, let's go over to you. What do you love to do to have fun and unwind?
Yeah, so I actually really enjoy baking. So I love to like bake new things and like try it. And like most of the time I have extra, so I always like let my friends have some. And I just like, it's a nice opportunity to like de-stress and like not think about schoolwork because I'm like concentrating on like making sure my recipe is good.
Well, I love that because I've never met a carb I didn't love. Maya, what about yourself? What helps you kind of take the pressure off?
So this might sound like a weird one, but I am a writer. So I do write in class, but I also write in my free time, and I'm lucky enough to like have a job that I get to write and express myself. And yeah, I also love to cook too, which is like a more fun one, but both of those are kind of avenues of de-stressing for me.
I'm sensing a lot of food here. I'm wondering if this has anything to do with COVID, if that's like escalated things that have already been there. And they're like, yeah, baking, going banana. Cece, what about yourself? How do you spend your free time outside of CGF?
I have 2 jobs. So anytime that I am not in school or studying, I am working. So I've actually really, really enjoyed having an on-campus job that has allowed me to connect with, I get to see students all the time and then also staff members, but I also really enjoy my other job, and I love, love, love hanging out with people and being around people. But right now it's a little difficult. So we're doing like FaceTime hangouts or different social gatherings that are very distant on mountains that are hiking with masks. But I really like people, and people help me decompress, which most people would want to be alone, but I like to be around other people and talk about our days and things of that sort.
Well, I like it. I think it's been nice to hear from all of you that you have this kind of mixed opportunity to not only connect to people when you want it, but you also have the ability to get away from it all, and that you're all balancing, I think, well, the rigors, and I think amplified even such over the last 6 to 9 months of, a high performance academic orientation of change management and movement with focusing on yourself, right? Cece said saying yes, but also saying no. Maya said being out there, but also taking time to write and be passionate and express herself on a personal basis. So we're going to go into our next lightning round here, and I'm going to tee up the question after that. So where I want to go after our lightning round, team, is to maybe have an understanding on a current topic, and that's going to be COVID, right? So some of these things right now that this is a bit of a new normal. It is possible that coming into the next spring and even next fall, I think as experts are saying, quote, previous traditional campus orientations may be a little bit different. Things will continue on. We will get through this. We are all together in solidarity. But I'm interested, how have you been coping with this? How have your studies of thinking about the future from an innovation or a sustainability, social, environmental, economic perspective, how has that helped you look through a lens at the current situation, maybe facing you, your friends, and how have you been able to get through college? Because where I'm interested in you kind of leading is really recommendations to folks, finishing up high school, community college, transitioning into a university in this current time. I want to hear some of your experiences, some of the things you've done in order to stay healthy, to stay well, and to still have a great experience. But before that, let's go into our next lightning round. Hopefully this is going to resonate with the audience. We'll see. If not, you could maybe do a third answer. Let's quickly change it. Answers are Jay-Z or Taylor Swift. Caitlin.
Taylor Swift.
Andy.
Taylor Swift.
Maya.
Old Taylor Swift.
Okay, old school. Elise, how about you?
Of course, Taylor Swift.
Oh, man. Okay, Cece, bailed me out.
Do I say J Beebs just to say J Beebs?
No, you do you. It's okay.
I like them both. I don't. Old Justin Bieber. Yeah. Baby
But Justin Bieber, when I said Jay-Z, I like it.
You said J. I thought you said J Beeb.
Yeah, it was Jay-Z. Oh, I'm sorry, not Justin Bieber, Jay-Z.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do the other box and rate Justin Bieber. So.
See, we buck tradition here at the College of Global Futures. I like it. We are all our independent people. All right, so let's go back. And Andy, I want you to tee us off. When you start thinking about maybe providing some sage advice to others in this current time, what are some things that you've gone through and maybe some words of wisdom to somebody coming into ASU and the College of Global Futures?
Yeah, especially coming in during COVID times, I think it can be easy to feel so distant because you're not physically there and you're coming through these Zoom forms. But putting yourself out there and reaching out to people in your classes, I think, is so important just to get that social aspect. Or even I have roommates, and so we've been doing workout challenges just to keep each other accountable. And so I think that just putting yourself out there and making sure you're still able to socialize, even though it's something we're not used to doing, so it's kind of awkward when you start to do it, but getting out of your comfort zone and doing that is key.
I like it. Maya, what about you? You said you've given some introspection and expressing yourself. How does this help? And what would you recommend to people and others as they start thinking about college?
Yeah, I will just say, first off, you should find a tremendous amount of comfort with the way that faculty, at least in the classes I've taken in the College of Global Futures, have been handling this pandemic and the sort of questions around it. I can't speak for the School of Sustainability, but I know my professors in SFIS have really been using this as an opportunity to have a real life experiment and hands-on sort of conversations to apply a lot of what we're learning. But I think outside of the classroom, I think just giving yourself time and being gentle with yourself. We are in unprecedented times, as people are saying. So treating yourself now and then, whether it's engaging in activities that you really like to do. Journaling, I've gotten into that. I thought it was a hoax, and now I know it's not. So just building a routine and building in time for reflection and things that you might have not built into your routine before really has helped me.
That time to pause and reflect, I like that. Maya. Caitlin, what do you think? We're going to go with Caitlin, and then Elise and CZ, we're going to transition to another question for you.
Yeah, so I think like a big thing with like the unprecedented times like Maya said that we're in is just like trying to stay motivated with like what you're doing, because it can be really hard because you're just like sitting in front of a screen all day, like doing Zoom calls or like doing your homework. So I think just like knowing that there is like an end goal to everything that you're doing, and like while it might not feel like there is right now, that there will be one, and like everything will get better. And like if you do need like more like stimulating things, like you can go to office hours with your professors and like talk to them and like really like engage with the material rather than just like getting it lectured at you over the screen. So there are definitely like ways to try and be more motivated, and like I definitely think that like you should seek those out, whatever like you think would make you the most motivated.
Awesome, thanks, and thanks for that vulnerability and the recommendations. So at least CC, I'd like maybe to transition now about really to the transition. So moving from high school to college, like great, you can drive from Arkansas, right, to Fayetteville, if I recall. See, I knew it. It's Fayetteville, right? Or Chandler, right, which is a hot 15 minutes away from campus. Driving's one thing. Maybe I'm interested, really, it could be a physical transition or this kind of metaphorical mental transition. Let me put it out there. How did you transition to ASU? Do you feel like it went well? Would you make recommendations if you could do it over again in order to maybe increase the comfort, or we talked a bit about this, accelerate maybe some of your integration into things? What are tips or tricks or pro tips? Could be physical. Don't forget this at home. It could also be mental, like prepare yourself for that. Cece, let's go with you.
Yeah, so I came into college living at home because that made the most sense for my family. I was a quick 25-minute drive, and I only was on campus for 2 days a week. So I was like, let's do it. Makes sense. I really didn't have that big of a transition because I was still at home. So it just felt like I was just going to school. I would really, really, really recommend setting aside some sort, if you do live at home or even in an apartment, or in your dorm, having a steady space in your room, like whether that be a desk, whether you designate the kitchen counter to do that. But don't do your schoolwork in your bed. You'll fall asleep and it turns into you want to jump in your bed and you don't want to do your schoolwork. So that was my biggest thing. It was making sure that I stay on top of my schoolwork even when I'm at home. When you get home, you just want to relax. But it was still really nice living at home. And if you can do it, I'd do it. But I would also say if you do have the power to live on campus or close to campus, totally do it, because you make friends like that.
Awesome. Elise, how about you?
So I came out to ASU and I didn't know anyone on campus, anyone in the entire state of Arizona. And so it was definitely a major life transition for me coming out here. So I would say the biggest change I had to make was making a solid schedule for myself, because otherwise I would have just sat in my dorm room all day and just waited for class to start. So I kind of had to schedule out like, okay, I'm going to go to class, but also I'm going to spend extra time trying to get to know the people in my class or maybe hang out with them after class, because I didn't know anyone. And so I had to take extra steps to get to know people. And that was the greatest thing I could have done, because for me anyways, if I had sat in my dorm room all day by myself, I would have been very sad. And so I just had to, over time, build up my own network here. And with that network, you not only gain friends, but you also get to hear about other opportunities on campus, whether it's in the College of Global Futures or in other activities on campus. you can hear about maybe different job opportunities or volunteering opportunities, just other things within the larger Phoenix community even. And so I did have to push myself to get out there, but that was one of the greatest things I ever did so that I could build up my network here.
Well, I love that. Thank you, Elise. And thank you to all of our 5 wonderful students here. We're going to start transitioning towards the second half. No, this is not an hour-and-a-half presentation, towards the tail end of our conversation here with you. So you still have time and opportunity. You're welcome to use your real voice coming off mute. If you have any questions for our amazing agents of change from the College of Global Futures, you're also encouraged to write those in the chat. Do you have anything that you want to jump in right now, maybe answer some comments or have any of our team members expand a bit further on?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole. I'm a senior at Desert Vista High School. And my sister, Katie, she's actually the president of Sustainability Club. And so she kind of, not influenced me, but I don't know, become more aware about like our world and climate change and all that sort of stuff. And so I guess for me, I'm just looking for a class that I can have fun with for sustainability and like also create connections with people because I don't really, I'm kind of undecided. I'm more towards like the medicine side of it, but like I guess like have your opinions on like what your favorite class is in like the school of sustainability and stuff like that.
Great question, Nicole. And let's do that maybe for CGF or at large here. Andy, let's start with you. Favorite class?
My favorite class has been Urban Dynamics or Sustainable Urban Dynamics with Dr. Melnick. He's a professor of practicum, I believe is what it's called. And so he has all this like knowledge and background in urban dynamics, and like he would fly away for a weekend and be like, sorry, I can't grade your essays this weekend. I have to go to Hong Kong and like help them with this urban dynamics issue. And so getting to learn from him was just crazy cool. And he really made the learning experience fun and like super interactive with us. So the first half of the class, or the first third, he taught, and then the middle part, we had a bunch of guest lecturers come in, which is always super exciting. Yeah, and Colin was a guest lecturer in that class. And then for the last third, we actually got to teach each other about things that we were interested in. And so the class was super guided by all of our passions. So I really loved that class.
Awesome. Elise, how about you? Favorite class thus far?
My favorite class was systems thinking with Professor Michael Schoon, because that's where you kind of dig deeper into the theories behind sustainability and the frameworks. And I loved digging a little bit deeper into that. And I think it's applicable into basically everything that we do. So.
Love that. The big picture. Cece, what about yourself?
My favorite class so far has been one of the capstone classes where we got to work with the Phoenix Zoo and create a transitioning plan for them to think about biomimicry and sustainability a little bit more. It was all group work, which I adored, and we got to actually talk to the stakeholders who we were creating these ideas for, have meetings with them and learn what their needs are versus what we thought we could do, and maybe that's actually not going to work. It was really good, real life experience, but still in the classroom and very guided. I think it was one of the coolest classes, yeah, for sure, I've taken so far.
I like it. Maya, how about yourself?
My favorite class in the school so far is a class I'm currently in called The Governance of Emerging Technologies. I am pre-med as well, so medicine, heyo. Yeah, that class is just awesome. We actually have like incredible guest speakers. We had the precision medicine head from the World Economic Forum in our class today, and we actually get to write up policy reports around technologies in healthcare and medical sectors for our final projects. So it's just a really engaging class, really intimate, and kind of directly applies to the sorts of things that I want to be doing in my life. So it's been good so far.
Awesome. Right. So that kind of global capacity coming to you as well. Caitlin, why don't you go and cap it off for us?
Yeah, so my favorite class that I've taken so far wasn't like my favorite because I thought it was like the most fun, but it's my favorite because I felt like I learned the most from it, and it was equity, justice, and sustainability. I really liked how we looked at the philosophies behind like justice, because like justice is like such like a big part of sustainability. And it just like I personally would have never read philosophy like articles and like all of these different theories behind like justice and how um, philosophers like thought it was like and like had their own opinions behind it. So to have like a class that was like dedicated to that, that just like really like made you think critically about justice and equity was like super interesting to me.
I love it. We've got 5 very different answers there, right? You can share that all back with the Sustainability Club, and I'll look forward to seeing you at the next club, right, when your sister invites me as well. What other questions? Do you have any other questions maybe for the team here? We've got a few more minutes, and we certainly want to provide you that opportunity.
Yeah, sure. Thank you in advance. I guess there's a lot of questions I have. Like the most important one maybe would be like study abroad or travel abroad programs based in this college.
Awesome. Great question, Nicole. So College of Global Futures has a big portfolio. If anyone's done any of our intensive or other study abroad, do you just want to raise your hand right now? Awesome. Ish. All right, let's go to Cece and then to Elise here.
Mine is just the program that I did with the School of Sustainability, the Fraser Global Mentorship Program. I have very much so been interested in study abroad and would love to do that. Hopefully I can in grad school. So that is my plan. But I've had that one opportunity, and if you can do it, oh my gosh, make it happen. Like it's life-changing for sure.
Elise, how do you feel about that? Tell us about your study abroad experience and what did it do for you?
Yeah, so I was able to go on one of our summer study abroad trips, and mine was actually to Greece, which unfortunately I don't think we're running that specific program anymore. But there are a lot of these summer programs that are offered anywhere from 1.5 to 4 weeks long. And so on my program, we were able to go learn about kind of rural versus urban dynamics. It was just the most amazing time. I mean, we got to not only go to the beach almost every day, but also learn a lot along the way. We interviewed a lot of different people about the different sustainability challenge in Greece, whether it was issues with drought or food security or just economic security. And it definitely offered a lot of perspectives that I hadn't necessarily considered previously. So I know a lot of our other trips, we have one that runs to South Africa that I have several friends who have gone on that one, and I mean, it's been life-changing for them. But I know we have lots of other great programs that are just, it's fun to kind of see the world and learn a lot along the way and see some of these different perspectives. So definitely recommend.
Well, thanks for that. And so we offer a variety of these summer intensive opportunities, anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, ranging in size, credit capacity as well. And these are pretty impressive, right? So you had like Andy talk about Dr. Melnick. So one of the reasons he works in Hong Kong, literally he will take you to Hong Kong over the summer to work with the Hong Kong Chinese University students to build, draft, and pass legislation for Hong Kong while you're there. It's incredible, right? So we want to bring you, as you heard here, this rich tableau of, yes, deep academic knowledge here in the college, but all of that has to be applied in reality because we want you to actually go out and do something. So yeah, a lot of robust opportunity. We're just about to hit the top of the hour here at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. You will have an opportunity in order to connect under separate cover. My colleague Bridget has dropped in the chat right there our contact information as well. So I do want to give a wonderful shout out and thanks to our incredible student panelists here, Caitlin, Andy, Maya, Elise, and Cece. Thank you. Thank you. You are amazing. Yes. Thank you for sharing your time, your talents, and your knowledge with all of us. We respect and honor that you do that. Thank you for being here. We've got all of our contact information between Bridget and myself right there. Here's our lovely brag slide. Look at this. Number 7 in the U.S. for research expenditures, number 1 in the U.S. for innovation, 6th year in a row now, right? I want you to maximize that opportunity. We do look forward to seeing you again soon, and it's been a wonderful time, and thank you for spending your day with us. Thank you, all of our wonderful change agents, and we can't wait to see you again in a future session and as a Sun Devil here in the College of Global Futures. Have a great night, everyone.